Hi, everyone. I'm Gary Summers, and welcome to the audio edition of Mind, Body, Soul, a show about your mental, physical, and spiritual wellness. Well, I have a returning guest this week, Sheila Leonard, and if you didn't hear her first interview, I suggest you go back as Sheila talks about Tai Chi Cha and how that all came about and how she got into it. And today we're going to talk about a different subject. So welcome, Sheila Leonard. How are you?
I'm good, Gary. Thank you. Thank you very much for the second opportunity to share this wonderful experience.
Oh, listen, the last one was eye-opening for me, and I'm sure it was for anybody who listens. So we'll get into this. So we talked last week about Tai Chi Cha, and I think now we're going to spend more time on wisdom, healing, Qigong. Can you just kind of set up this interview and tell people what they can expect to hear from you today?
Okay. Well, the wisdom healing Qigong has some similarities with the Tai Chi Cha in terms of an energy practice, as we talked about last time. What I would like to do today is, again, present wisdom healing Qigong as, like Tai Chi Cha, a way that we can help ourselves feel better using our own natural inner resources. And so we'll talk about what is wisdom healing Qigong and what comprises it, what makes it unique, what are some of the benefits, and what can it look like kind of walking down the hall in your everyday life.
Wow. Okay. So how did you first find wisdom healing Qigong?
I need to connect it, first of all, with Tai Chi Cha and my own experience with that, because that's the door that opened up for me, that led me to Qigong. Okay. Quite a while back, 30 years ago, would you believe, I had gotten very sick with a lot of environmental things, big time, autoimmune. My life got turned upside down. Doing everything I could in terms of conventional medical practices and follow-ups. I kept coming up with dead ends, more questions than answers. And I met somebody who was doing energy healing work. And so that opened up doors for me when everything else was shut. And I wasn't willing just to live with what was going on for me. So as I got into Tai Chi Cha and was traveling around the province, I was on the West Coast and I met some people there who were doing Qigong. And that sparked another level of interest. It triggered some other healing for me. And I followed up with that. And it was a medical Qigong at that time, which when I pursued that, it led me to this wisdom healing Qigong. And my life, as I say, it turned quite upside down. I had like chronic fatigue. I had autoimmune. I lost a whole nerve piece in my face. I jokingly, and partly as my way of coping, I called myself a numbskull because the nerve in my face totally numbed out everything from my neck way back to the top of my head. And it was pretty scary. But the Tai Chi Cha helped it begin to turn around, which I was told could never happen. If it didn't happen in 3 months, it would never happen. Then medical Qigong stepped it up a notch. And then when I got introduced to the wisdom healing Qigong through that, it just jumped. It just did leaps and bounds to the point that I got my life back. I was coming back with the other Tai Chi Cha and medical Qigong in any case, and other things I was doing. But the wisdom healing Qigong totally restored the nerve sensations in my face, gave me back a whole new life and vitality that was coming. But like I say, it jump-started it. And the benefits were such that, you know, when you find something like a good blueberry patch and you want to keep going back to it, well, this was better than any blueberry patch I've ever found. And I just wanted more of it. I had back my sense of aliveness, vitality, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. New doors were opening and my life just felt really, really good. And then, of course, I got passionate about it because I wanted to share it as well.
You made an interesting point. You said that these practices, Tai Chi Cha and wisdom healing Qigong, basically help people discover their inner wisdom and inner healing ability. And that's what's so important for people to understand. It's just because someone tells you something that they can't do anything else for you, that doesn't mean there's nothing out there to help. It just means that based on their knowledge, they only know what they know. They don't know what they don't know. So you said I guess you started practicing this first and then you started teaching it, but I can sense your passion because I guess you're a living proof that this is a miracle for you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The neurologist who did this testing and confirmed a couple of years ago that totally all of this nerve sensation was back. And, he would say, I'm learning from you today because I don't understand this. I can hardly pronounce it. But he said, keep doing what you're doing, and our bodies have a natural healing capacity. We talk about the pharmacy in our head, the serotonin and all of that.
Yeah.
Things we can do to cultivate that and function optimizers for all kinds of things. Then wisdom healing Qigong goes to the energy source, the direct energy source within our bodies. And most of us, we're kind of programmed. Was it McKenson says we're programmed to kind of look outside. That's genetic. We're looking outside of ourselves for danger and all the rest of it. We don't have any lions around trees going to eat us up or anything, but we're still focused out here. Wisdom healing Qigong invites us to come back to the rich resource we have inside. And like in Tai Chi Cha, we talked about balancing the energy. I'll say the ABC of Tai Chi Cha, you activate the energy, you balance it and circulate it. Well, in Qigong, it does something more than just activate and circulate the energy. It does that, yes, but it takes it a step further and it helps transform like energy patterns in our body, mind and heart from like kind of frozen, constricted patterns. Like if we just think for a minute about something that makes us frightened, and you can just pay attention to your body and you feel your body kind of go tight, right?
Sure, absolutely.
And so we talk about like negative feelings and positive feelings. And actually, there aren't any negative and positive feelings. In Qigong, we talk about constricted energy or energy that's flowing. And like when we're afraid, then the energy freezes up in our body and it pumps out fear and it pumps out all kinds of reticence to do things. And it takes us in a spiral that takes us down and it freezes our capacity for things.
And
when
that's
we
what
open it up,
go ahead.
when we can do these practices and open up that energy, we free up that flow so that energy is no longer tight and constricted in our bodies. Then it becomes freer and flowing. And the energy, I'm going to say, for example, one of the unique things in Qigong is the 5-organ sound healing practice. So like when our kidney system, which is connected with fear, when that is tight, it pumps out that. When it frees up, you don't get rid of fear. Just like you don't get rid of anxiety.
Fear is good, right? Really,
yeah.
You have to have some fear, otherwise you'd be reckless.
That's right. But even when we have fear that feels justified, we don't so much get rid of the fear as we transform that constricted energy into a freer energy, and the fear transforms into creativity and willpower and empowerment. So it's the same energy. It's like you flip a coin. When it's constricted, you get fear. When it's constricted, you get anxiety. When you relax and flow with it, you get confidence and, a whole sense of possibilities and empowerment.
So, and if people don't understand the physiological response to fear is exactly the same physiological response to excitement.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same physiological response. So the difference is instead of assigning what something happens to you, instead of assigning fear to it, you assign excitement to it. That takes you in a whole different pathway in your life. Mike Dooley, if anybody ever listened to or read the book, The Secret, he was one of the people who contributed to the book, and on the video, the DVD that was out, he contributed to it. And he said, if you take physiological stress away from the body is designed to do what it was meant to do, and that's heal itself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's basically what you're saying, is to be able to go inside yourself, learn to calm yourself down. And then once you do that, then the body takes over and begins to learn how to heal itself.
Mm-hmm. Our body instinctively, intuitively has this energy in our inside that when it's flowing, it optimizes every function in our body. Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, breathing, heart rate, digestive, the whole works. And if we allow that through like posture. I mentioned last week in Tai Chi. Posture is big in Qigong. So it's like, think of your whole body, your spine as an energetic highway, and your neck is like an extension of that, right? So when our body relaxes, that energy flows and it can go up. When we think of like even our neck and shoulders, where people hold a lot of stress and tension, think of your neck as like the overpass. You know, you come out the outer ring, or you're going out Topsail Road, Kenmont Road, you come to the overpass. And years ago, when the only way out of town, unless you're going to the Southern Shore, was the overpass, if there was a trouble area on the overpass, nobody moved.
Right.
So if there's tension and, you know, all kinds of discomfort in our neck and shoulders, then the messages from our head, our brain, our energy brain, as well as our physical brain, down to the rest of our body, that's interfered with. And so if we can learn to relax our spine, our neck, the messages flow more freely, and then the energy, it actually works more. It works better. It optimizes everything else. And we have 37 trillion cells in there, and they all want to be happy and healthy. They're primed for that. That's our natural DNA. And somewhere that got interfered with through genetics, all the way back to fight and flight and our ancestors, you know, who didn't want to get eaten by dinosaurs, or they weren't around. They weren't around with the dinosaurs. Sorry, they didn't want to get eaten by the wild animals.
That's right.
But there's that genetics. We inherit things from our parents, from our generationally, that experience, and also just life. Life has got stress in it. Ordinary, everyday stress. You know, that's what constricts the energy, and that's what interferes. You get stress, distress, discomfort, disease, and disease. And if we can kind of play with that, and Qigong gives all kinds of tools, much more specifically and much more directly in ways than the Tai Chi.
So how are they alike? How are they different? Is one better than the other? Just like talk to those.
They both work with the natural energy. It's all around us. You know, we swim in this ocean of energy. Do fish know they swim in water? You know, do we know we swim in this ocean of energy? It's not just out there and we're not in it, like inserted into it. That energy is deeply innate to us. And so both practices work with that. The Tai Chi does it in a more soft, gentle, yet very powerful way. Qigong goes at it a little more directly. Tai Chi has like a set of 20 moves, right? And that's essentially it. There's some meditation in there, but it's essentially 20 moves. The Qigong has like a three-legged stool. It has two different kinds of practices that have movements, one very much resembling Tai Chi in terms of pace and slowness and that kind of thing. And another set that actually, we call it awakened vitality. It opens up the physical energy in our body, our muscles, joints. Energy fuels everything in there. So we open up that with a more active, nothing like aerobic. It's nothing like that. It's like a moving meditation. So there's the physical component. Then, of course, there's the meditation component in it as well. Connecting with the universe, like the energy of the universe. We have this wonderful image of it's like a baby in the womb, but the womb is the Milky Way in the picture, right? Okay. And it's like we're held in this universe. We're held by the universe, this source energy of the universe, whether we call that energy source, God, whatever we want to call that. There is an energy source, a primal energy source in the universe. And when we plug into that, we can use that and activate, like Qigong itself. Qi means the energy. Gong means working with the energy, cultivating it, developing it, expanding it. You know, when we're fearful, our kidney energy gets really tight. Sure, and when we do this, the sound healing, which is the third practice, then we open up, we expand that capacity for each of the organs in our body to transform these, like what we call negative energies, into kind of their opposite, because that's what happens when you free up the flow. So that's one of the big differences is this, like the three components. And like when we talk about sound healing, it's not that we use music or drums or anything like that. Our bodies have their own natural vibrational patterns. And so our bodies are our own instruments. They become the instrument, right? So we kind of play our own music. And we do the sounds, and the sounds are connected with like the heart's associated with happiness or unhappiness and, you know, sadness, loneliness. And so when we play with that, then we play with those energies. When we do, there's 3 sounds for the heart, there's 3 sounds for the kidney, which does with fear and creativity and empowerment. There's 3 sounds for the digestive system. You know, when we get upset, we get a knot in our stomach, right?
Sure.
So like anxiety, all of that piece, worry, it's all connected with our digestive system. But so is creativity and confidence and, you know, that piece. And then of course our liver, you know, like anger is associated with our liver, but anger is also, when you transform it, becomes courage and passion.
Absolutely.
Right? And that kind of thing. And then of course our lungs, you know, affect with our circulatory system, and like grief and loneliness. And people go from grief that's weighing them down to holding it, being able to be with it and transform that into compassion, into a willingness, readiness to move forward. Right?
So when you say on your website, awaken the energy within, let me see if I got this straight. We have the energy within us. It's just that the beliefs that we hold or how we're thinking about life is kind of stifling that positive energy. What you're doing is taking it and awakening it so that it works for you instead of working against you.
Well, and it's essentially the principle in wisdom healing qigong is that the energy is already there.
Right.
How many of us look at little kids or play with little kids and we get exhausted saying, "Oh my God, I wish I had their energy," right?
Yeah.
We have that natural energy within. Some little children, unfortunately, by the age of 4 and 5, had their own energies squelched as well, and you know, just interfered with because of their own trauma, their own situations in their lives. But most little children have like boundless energy. As adults, we're even bigger than them, so we got more energy. Right?
Yeah,
but
sure.
we have that natural capacity inside us. But we need to, first of all, know that we have it. It's like, I didn't know I could do that. Oh my, what's this I'm feeling? I didn't know that existed inside of me. And it's like, all I have to do is this, and then my situation changes. How many people have told me, like with COVID and just how difficult that's been, and how when they use their qigong practices, they're much better able to cope with it. Some people who deal with chronic illness, much better able to cope with it because they have more energy to do it, because actually symptoms are starting to like kind of reverse and whatever's. So, but we do have a natural energy. We don't always have to bring it in with these, you know, booster drinks and whatever else. We go in, we need things from the outside. Traditional medicine, yes, you know, this is best of East and West, I think is one way you put it last week. So when we take in what we need, but if there's something awry in our bodies, it's not just a matter of taking it out or adding something in. It's a matter of maybe a combination of also what's already in there that I can utilize, plug into, that is natural to me. And it's there just because you wish it.
Is can you? Like this might sound like a really odd question, but can you feel it, or just feel the effects?
Both, Gary. When we talked to Tai Chi Cho last week, I invited people, and I would invite anybody listening again, just put your 2 palms close together. Right? Put them close together, facing each other. And we used to do this as little kids. I grew up in the middle of 4 boys plus another 8 or 9 children. But we would do, I bet you can't do this. One of the things we did, we would open our hands up and then just almost close them. Just open and close. And you feel something. When I ask people, what do you feel? They'll say things like, oh, there's warmth, there's tingling in my fingers. Feels like a magnet. It's like I'm pulling apart cotton candy, or I'm pushing it together and it won't go together. There's a resistance in there, right? That is the energy. We have all kinds of energy gates. 2 of them are like in the palms of our hands. So when we put the palms together in Tai Chi Cho, we call that polarity. It's a negative energy that flows on one side of our body, a positive energy on the other. And Tai Chi Cho is about balancing that yin and yang, that negative and positive energy. Tai Chi Cha is that. Qigong is about activating this energy and using it to transform energy patterns in our bodies from frozen to flowing, from constricted to free, from stuck to flowing. You know, and when the energy flows, amazing things happen, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. So physically, yes, you can actually feel it. People do a practice, and at the end, like I'll sometimes say, so as we begin, just think of something and you're like, how's your body feeling right now? Find an area in your body that maybe is holding some tension. Just find it. Don't have to judge it. No big story. Just notice it. Because most of the time we don't notice, or if we do, we want to get rid of it quick, right? So just let yourself feel it and give it a number, like on a scale of 1 to 10. And for some people, it's pain and it's an 8. And for some, it's like kind of, sadness or upset or confusion, anxiety, and it's a 3 or a 4.
Yeah.
At the end of the practice, we go back to that number. And it's amazing how people will feel, oh my God, that doesn't feel like that anymore.
Yeah.
It feels it was an 8. Now my pain is down to a 5. Or I was really upset about that. And you know what? My upset right now is probably a 2 or a 3 instead of a 7, so you can feel the effects of it. But the physical, some people say they just feel this lovely, warm, something comfortable sense of comfort in their whole body. So it's different ways of feeling it. Sometimes it's like the movements that are physical. It's just, my back was hurting when I started this. It was like a 6. And now the pain in my back is like a 3. So you open up the stuck places and the energy flows and that shifts. And, and if you maintain the practice, it maintains the benefits. Right?
Who comes to your wisdom healing Qigong classes? Like, just talk about it. Is it the same type of people who go to Tai Chi Chas? Is it something for anyone, ages, abilities? Just talk about your classes.
My classes are quite a mix of people with Qigong. A lot of people come because they've got like chronic illness, because the word healing is in there. Tai Chi Cha doesn't have the word healing in it, right? But they want some healing, or they've got some big anxiety issues or balance issues or whatever. And so they range from, I've had people come like in their 20s to people one lady said, can I do this class? I'm 83. And it's like, you're here.
Yes, right. Yeah.
You got here, right? And you want to be here. Of course you can, right? So like people come of all ages. They come just because, you know what, I'm retiring next year, or I just retired and I wanted to do something all my life. One woman told me my poster was on her fridge for 3 years, and she's finally getting a chance to do it. And so people come for different reasons. They just want to feel good. Everybody wants to move forward with a sense of groundedness and purposefulness and confidence and the ability to navigate whatever is going on. There's no promise that Tai Chi Cha or Qigong is going to change what's out there in our lives, or even physically. If I'm dealing with a cancer or some other kind of disease that's not life-threatening, some other kind of condition, there's no guarantee it's going to go away. That's not that people come. People say, I came for this, but I got so much more.
And I think the thing is, it's you can't change what happens to you. You can't change what's out there, but you can change how you respond to it. Yeah. And I think that's the biggest benefit. We have a choice on how we respond to it. Sheila, you talked about the medical side of it, and how long does it take for people to see the benefits, and how long does it last? Is it kind of something you went to a physiotherapist and went there 2 or 3 times, and then he fixes you and then you go off? This is a life. Is this a lifetime commitment to doing this?
Well, one of the sessions we do online with the Chi Center, it's called Qigong for Life. It's actually called Qigong for Life Mastery. And it's about Qigong for life, in that you want more life and energy, but it's also Qigong for life in that it becomes like a way of life. Like it's long-term, it's lifestyle. I think you had said last week, is like bathing, you got to keep on, you bathe every day.
Exactly.
Well, you eat every day, you brush your teeth every day, you sleep every day. And if you find something that works, The Qigong means you work with that and you continue to do it. It's not that you've got to find a time every day to do an exercise, or you've got to find a time every day to do this kind of like the sound healing, which is like repetitive sound. So someone's like a chant. There's a whole attitude that says, I'm coming home to me 24/7. I can be more present to me, to my body, mind, and heart, kind of lining up those three. And the more I do that, then the more it becomes an integrative part of my day. And it continues. Some people just stop coming to classes and they continue the practices on their own. You know, we've got there's one kind of chant that we do. It's simply how la, and it kind of goes like how la, how la, how la, and it's repetitive. And how la, it's like a blessing. It's like an activation of energy. Literally it means all is well and getting better. And it doesn't look like our world is all is well, right?
Yeah.
Then when I'm not well, I really can say all is well. But it takes us to another level. We take off our glasses and put on a new way of seeing life. And so there's some bigger picture that comes into play. And when we work with this energy, things get better. So, I just playfully, sometimes I'd come up to a green light. Great. I'm on a schedule. Green light, lovely. There's a car in front of me. We got plenty of time. The person in front of me puts on their brake. They're 40 feet back and they crawl up to the green light and boom, it's red. And lots of times in the past, I'd go, I would be grunting. I would be, would not want to be around, right? Yeah. But now it's like, holla, it's green. Oh, it's red. Holla. It's like you learn to approach things differently. So whether that's, your cake that didn't rise the way you wanted it to, it's raining and you were going for a walk, or you just got a medical report that you were hoping you wouldn't get, and everything in between. But we learn to navigate life differently from the inside out. It's like there's a joy that, like the natural quality of the energy, Gary, that we're dealing with is loving kindness, it's joy, it's creativity, it's compassion. They're the characteristics of that energy. That's who we are. That's our essence. And so it cultivates that. So we just have a different stance towards life, and when we move in the energy, one of the, I guess it's a funny way to say it, but the practices are designed to move the energy, to open it. And any healing that happens, it's like a wonderful side effect.
Yeah.
Right? That you don't, rather than doing Tai Chi Cha or sound or wisdom healing Qigong to heal something, you do it to primarily open up the energy, because that's what triggers the healing. The first step is energy.
What would you, if you had to describe this in a couple of words, and I'll just throw some words out there and you can tell me which would be more accurate. Would you call it an exercise class? Would you call it a something in mindfulness? Would you call it directed focus? Like if someone said, Sheila, describe it in a couple of words, how would you describe these two practices?
They are mindfulness practices, absolutely. They're also very science-based in terms of how they work, but they're definitely mindful practices. Mindfulness, it's about using our hands in lots of ways and our mind's focus. We think of our mind as like our thinking brain. We've got a whole other dimension of wisdom in there. We talk about our third eye between our eyebrows. Yeah. We've got an energy place, a wisdom place inside there. We call it pure consciousness in Qigong, but it has a dozen names. But there's a wisdom in there, and we plug into that. So we use that part of our mind's focus, our hands, to move the energy, to wake it up, to create the wellness that we want, to help create the wellness that we want. So there's the mindfulness, very much so. The mind, have you got a monkey mind?
Yeah.
Anybody
yeah.
listening?
I think everybody has monkey brain. Yeah.
Anybody listening to this, we all have a monkey mind. It wants to go from one thing to the other.
Yeah.
And this helps us focus. It helps us focus bring back our energy to tension. So we choose directed energy. Everything you just said fits, Gary. We direct that energy to its optimal functioning in our bodies so we can be optimally alive and well. And that's primarily coming home to ourselves, coming home to our bodies rather than naturally living out there.
Could you use it? Could you use it to get to sleep?
Oh, absolutely.
Because one of the biggest issues people have with trying to get to sleep is monkey brain. I mean, you know, what happens
Yep.
tomorrow? I got a big, what happens if it goes wrong? What if people don't like? What about if I say something wrong? And then we forget about the now. We forget about what happened before, what could happen in the future. But if we can learn to just take that directed energy and focus on allowing ourselves to relax, I think that would be a perfect practice to help people get sleep.
Yeah, there's a wonderful practice in this. It's there's the movement meditation that's more physically oriented.
Yeah.
And then there's another one, it's called lift chi up, port chi down. And it's a very soft, gentle meditation where you're kind of integrating the internal energy, kind of your inner space, and the outer energy, the outer space. And it's very soft and gentle. And that's an amazing practice to do for 5 minutes, 10 minutes before you go to bed.
Yeah, yeah.
Or people lie down and do it while they're lying down. Once they
Sure.
get used to it, you can visualize it. Or the howla that I just talked about. Some students tell me that they use howla when they're going to sleep. Just a soft whisper. They don't even, not even saying it. They're kind of thinking howla. And it's like grounding in their own energy and being held by the universe, and that everything is going to be okay. We tell it to little kids all the time. We tell it to everybody. It's going to be okay.
The term that I guess maybe a lot of people are familiar with is self-fulfilling prophecy. And you know, when you have a problematic day and you take it home with you and you think about it, and when you're going to bed you think about it more, and then you say to yourself, you know, if I have another day tomorrow like I had today, then you know I'm going to lose my mind. And of course, when you bring that negative energy into yourself, you're basically fulfilling that prophecy that there's a good chance you're going to have that same thing again tomorrow. Are there certain practices better for specific health issues?
In a way, yes, and in a bigger way, no. Like the awakened vitality, it's the movement, it's geared to open up physical energy in your body. It's got rotations of your hips, your shoulders, it's got a neck rotation. Not even a neck rotation. I won't describe it that because people will go into ideas that they already preconceived notions.
Right.
It's very different. But there's ways to open up physically in your body. So if like flexibility, mobility kinds of issues, that's a wonderful place to start for everybody, because most of us need that opening up. Then the sound healing for me, like when I lost this nerve piece in my face, totally numbed out.
Yeah.
The practice that I did, the course that I did at that time was sound healing. And it was the sound healing practice that's amazing for emotional issues. It's amazing for neurological issues. This particular retreat I had done was for people like with especially neurological issues and other things too. But like the sound healing, it's emotional. It goes directly to the 5 organs and does the emotional transformations. And the lift chi up, port chi down, it's like integrating, it's like connecting with the whole energy of the universe, and it's a softer, gentler practice. Meanwhile, having said that, there are other practices as well that all are geared towards opening up the energy. So it's like whatever you're looking for, your body's own innate intelligence and capacity for healing is going to plug in, right? When I said about the hands opening and closing, and just doing that, that's called a lot chi. It's like pulling energy, opening it out and gathering it in from the universe and using your mind's focus to direct it to wherever you want. If you're having issues with your heart or your knee or anything else, you can actually visualize that organ between your hands and visualize your hands inside holding that organ, opening out the energy and gathering it in, like expanding and gathering. And so you can focus your energy on a particular condition. Yes, absolutely. But you can do the Lot Chi for that. You can do the sound healing for that. You can do the other movements, the awakened vitality for that. But some practices people love because it helps them more with certain conditions, yes.
Okay.
But any of them can help heal anything.
So Sheila, what about classes? You know, online, do people go to a certain place for these? And how do I know while people are listening, they got your contact information, so they know how to get in touch with you. So what's available for people to take advantage of this?
Before COVID, everything is before COVID now. Before COVID, my main site had come down to the Lantern on Barnes Road. I've been teaching there for the 20 years that I've been teaching this, but that became my single site. And right now, in-person classes are not available. So 2 years ago, I switched to online on Zoom. And so my continuing classes have all been on Zoom. Starting later in March, I'm opening up some Zoom classes for beginners. Okay. Again, there wasn't enough interest last fall when I advertised it. Sure. But so that information will be on my website on the news page. If anybody wants to get onto my mailing list, I can directly send it out to you automatically. Just send an email. So it's at the Lantern, possibly in April again, but I need to play with that just for all kinds of reasons. Sure. But it's on Zoom. And if I could learn how to stream it to YouTube, I could also put it on YouTube so people could just do it live on YouTube. I have yet to learn how to do that. Okay. So for now, I'm with Zoom. The classes are like once a week, basically, and they're usually an hour and a half. And then what we do in class, I encourage people to kind of do a little bit of homework. You know, like it's like, again, brushing your teeth. If you want the benefits, how much do you want this? Yeah. How much do you want this? That's going to determine how much you give to it. What's your life like? People say, but you know, my life is crazy already. It's really full. I'm coming here because of the stress. Don't give me something else to do. Yeah. And the thing is that if you can carve out a little bit of time for yourself, even if your practice on any given day is doing Hala, you know, all the way through. Find 10 minutes, find 20 minutes to do a practice. There are lots of videos, you know, that you can get, that you can put on, follow along with, or just put on and watch. That we have this mirror neuron in our brain that even if we're watching a video, we're there and we're doing it and we can get the benefits. It's an amazing principle of mindfulness, this mirror neuron. So you learn it and you do it. And, you know, if you're out walking, you know, just being connected with nature, drawing in the energy from the universe. So you don't have to be standing in one spot or sitting in a spot doing an exercise to do Qigong. You can integrate it into all kinds of your ways. It helps us learn new ways of responding to old situations. And it puts us back in the driver's seat in a lot of ways. And that's a good thing. One teacher friend, she actually had stage 4 Parkinson's. This is in the extreme of people healing and her extreme in terms of what she did to deal with this. She totally reversed her stage 4 Parkinson's. Through Qigong, and such that 3 years afterwards, she's been dismissed by all of the doctors in the medical field because there's no reason for her to come back to them. They can't find anything, right? But she describes wisdom healing Qigong in particular as a one-stop shopping.
Yeah, wow.
Like, I can get whatever I'm looking for. I can find it in this place, right? And other people, I wanted to add one other thing, that's if you have like kind of questions, there's all kinds of, I don't call them testimonials or like videos of people telling their stories on the QICenter.com, which is the site, CENTER, not RE, QICenter.com, where they tell stories of amazing things that have happened. And, you know, how you fit it into your day, anything goes. There's no pressure. It's as your life allows, your effort, the best effort you can put into it. Right?
Sheila, we're almost out of time. And again, wonderful for you to take the time to help people. Can you leave our listeners with something that they could use right now to help them deal with whatever adversity they're dealing with right now in their lives?
I'm going to connect two things. One is coming back to what I'd shared at the end of Tai Chi Cha last week, and that's carve out a little bit of time in your day, 30 seconds, a minute, do it several times a day, just to check in with yourself, to come home to you, like to your body. That we get one body while we live, right? We're going to live here. It's our home. Where are we going to live if we don't take care of it? But it's not just that. Come home to yourself, find that quiet time, just sitting or walking or lying down, and just honor that sense of you. What do we want for a home? We want a happy, healthy place. We want a place that we love, that we want to come back to. And so trying to create that. And the other, that how la, practice it, or even if you don't understand what it means, even if you don't believe all is well and getting better, you don't have to believe it. Take the power of like the community, that whole world community, that we're talking one humanity. There's a big energy field out there that we're part of, where none of us are in this alone, right? So do that how la, do it at red lights, do it when you're in a hurry to get somewhere, do it when somebody rubbed you the wrong way, do it when you slept in, do it when, oh no, whatever, just how la, just kind of lift your hands up in the air, lift your hands up over your head, connect with the energy of the universe, and imagine it pouring down on you. Use your hands, bring it down, let it filter through your whole body, this energy, how la. So kind of how going up, la coming down. And if you want, put your hands up to your shoulders like you're going to send somebody a blessing, send how la out to the world, and know that the world's sending it back to you. So there's a connection. Connection is the biggest word, I think, in Qigong. Connecting with ourselves, with the universe, with other people, with a power bigger than us.
I think the most important thing you said was you really don't have to believe. You just have to give it a chance. Sheila, thank you very much. It's been absolutely wonderful, and I know you're welcome to come back at any time, and I know you'll be part of this project as we move forward. And I really look forward to spending some more time and talking about these wonderful processes and that you do to help people. Again, thanks very much.
Thank you very much, Gary, and wonderfully grateful for this opportunity and for your own wisdom and input too, and challenges.
That's it for this. That's it for this.
Yeah. To everybody, how la.
How la. Thanks, Sheila. That's it this week. Everybody, I'll be back next week with another interesting guest. Bye-bye for now.